It's Marty signing in, and yes, I still am using the intro, signing in. So what does a programmer do? So, of course, we've all heard the cliched programmer who sits down, he's been drinking coffee for a bit longer than he probably should have been, and he's just typing away like a maniac on the keyboard. So, there's a bit of truth to that. But besides just running random numbers down a screen for no real reason, what does a programmer actually really do? So a programmer basically is the grease monkey working in the car who deals with the engine and everything underneath it. So that guy there, that's the programmer working hard there. You can see the sweat dripping off his face. So his job is to make sure that the program runs smoothly without any bugs or any glitches, and it's not hackable by any malicious people. So, and then you've got this guy over here, which this guy is the design and artwork manager who basically just makes sure that the car looks nice in the end of the day. You can see he's smiling, he's happy to do his job. So programmers handle all the internal components of games, for example. They make sure that the game runs smoothly, all the logic makes sense, and your guy isn't just suddenly skyrocketing into the air for no real reason, and that you don't end up with weird kind of annoying glitches kind of like that. So that's their whole job. Just make sure all this works good, all the logic is good, and all that the images line up, and it's all nice looking. Now, the artwork and design, that's again covered by a totally different guy who handles just the design and artwork, while the programmer handles his own little nest full of codes over there. Programmers also make extremely useful websites that we use day to day without even thinking about. So websites like Google, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, all of those are programmed typically in a language called HTML, which we'll get more onto languages a bit later. And programmers also make those extremely useful apps that we've grown to love on smartphones. They, like Google Maps, for example, that's programmed using language. So all these programs, apps, and games all created using programming languages. So what this is, it's basically you give all these sets of instructions to the computer. The computer follows all this long list of code, which some examples of programming languages is some popular ones are C++, C#, Python. HTML is not actually a programming language, it's used for creating websites. So you can see that we have this really long list of code here, and all this code does is when run by the computer runs all these sets of instructions, which is basically a long list of code just for a login. Anyone can learn to program. I'm just an average student who just works hard, and I've learned to program. With learning to program, it's like opening a jar of olives. Once you get the first one out, the rest of the languages come easy, or a bit easier once you get the fundamentals of how the programming works. So it's very similar to learning another language like French or Spanish. And once you learn one language, again, it's very easy to pick up on a second language, a third language, and a fourth language. So if you are interested in learning program, I would recommend going with Python. You can get up and running making games very fast and efficiently, and it's a great starter language. And for tutorials and learning how to program, there's tons of great stuff on YouTube. And once you get a bit more advanced, after you've done quite a few YouTube videos, then I'd suggest moving on to a local library. You should find a lot of programming books there, or you could just order them online using your library. So why should anyone learn programming? Well, programming and robotics are the future. Now with the new inventions of self-driving cars, they're now working towards self-driving combines, and they've already implemented self-driving big rigs, trucks. Now that robots have revolutionized industry in the fact that tons of factories out there, they use robots instead of humans to do all that precise works. In car factories, there's tons of robots all over the place. So it's important to know how to program those. So in the event that the robot takes your job, you're still going to have the job of programming the robot. If you have any questions or comments about programming, leave that down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you next video. HMRD out. So this is basically, it's like learning a second language. So you just type out all this interesting information. Okay, yeah, that's Windows, ignore that. But it's basically like another language. You just give all these instructions to the computer, and using all these instructions, these computer will thus generate all this interesting stuff, which then goes down to Windows, can you leave me alone for 5 minutes? 5 minutes! Now, as I was saying, that really makes you lose your train of thought. So anyways, all that... This working condition isn't unworkable. So these games, programs, and apps are all created using programming languages. So what a programming language is basically like... Windows, just leave me alone. Thank you. 5 minutes, Windows. 5 minutes. No, continue without scanning. Thank you. what was going on with my USB, I don't know.